Literally works like a charm. What weirdness is this? What wizardry? This bright thing is blinding my eyes. Why is it hurting so much? Oh, isn't it lovely? Now, a lot of people have asked me, when does your winter end? Well, it's not exactly over as all this stuff sitting around here is indicative of, but you could almost whisper the spring word. So, the saga with this continues. So, it's been acting weird. I've been driving it around for a little while with my fancy dancy box fix. As you can see, the new caps on, so it makes it look a lot better. As you can see, my tape line, that will get fixed later. No, this set of wheels here, this set of the duals, whenever you're going to bounce, the best way to describe it is they judder. They bounce like this. And so I figured maybe I had ice build up in the rims, which is quite common over here, because the ice and snow melts off the brakes when you park up, and it drips into the bottom of the rim, causes a lump, offsets your balance. Anyway, it turns out the top of the shock on this side is loose. So the top of the shock on this side is back here behind the axle, and the top of the shock over here is in front of the axle underneath that slug. That's a chain down slug for the fifth wheel hitch. So I was on the old squeak box trying to find out from Dodge what is the bolt that goes into the bracket to hold this on, because it's missing. Well, they sent me a bolt and it doesn't even work. It's not even right. So what turns out is there's a bracket welded to the frame rail, and there's a bolt that goes out through this bracket and out the other side that the shock mounts onto, and it's welded to the bracket that's welded to the frame rail. So you can't remove it. And it's broken inside the frame rail, under there. So it looks like I'm going to have to take the fuel tank out, lift the box, and either cut the bolt out and put a new one in and weld it in, or countersink the opening where the broken part fell out, put another stub bolt in there and weld around it to the frame rail, because that should give it enough strength from oscillating or whatever you want to call it, and then get the shock on and bolt, then put the nut on. So that's where I'm at. One of two things to do, but it involves a welder and a pain in the bum. So that's one of the things that's keep me from the creature in there. Now for the creature in there, bring you back. So here's Beast. Beast has a problem. Yeah, there's parts lying everywhere. So Beast's front wheel drive, because it's four-wheel drive, the front wheel assist, which is vacuum actuated, something's been wrong with it. So you got to take the disc off, the calipers in there to get that off. That's just a rock guard. And then, oh yeah, as you can see, that part there, I had already replaced those bushings, but this part, which is this guy here, I got a new set of those. But the problem is, to get that out, everything has to come apart, and I'll post the video of popping these apart. Okay, so part of this job, taking these ball joints off, the top ball joint, and then there's another one in the bottom there. There's three that control this. There's the pivots, this is the steering. So there's nothing wrong with the ball joints, but I gotta take them off to get at this guy in here. So I gotta get this off to push that out. So I don't want to wreck these guys. So here's a trick. just like in that big guy over there. Put a lot of pressure on the ball joint. I'm literally picking the truck up by the head, and there you go. Now that was easier than what I was supposed to be filming you. Because what I was going to do was push on that and then hit here, forcing it down off the wedge, and then it would just pop, but it popped all by itself. And plus I forgot to put the old castle nut on the end of the threaded rod, but I hadn't really done anything to it, so there you go. That's how you do it. You press up on the end of the bolt with the nut, remember to put the nut back on, and then you go and it shocks this and off it comes. I'll bring you back to do these ones because these ones won't be that easy. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you. So those are all popped apart. The castle nut, and then there's a big nut in there that holds that ball joint in. So now I just have to drop these guys. So all the nuts and stuff are there. So that's the rod. It's really wrecked. The other one wasn't so bad, but that one's really bad. And it goes in there, onto the end of that guy, up the frame rail. And that's the sway bar. Same as any other cars. So this is the one from this side. Same as the other one. Pretty, they're old. They've got 340,000 kilometers on them. These are the locking hubs. You turn this part, but these are all gooned up. The other one's there. So, this, that, and those. Ta-da! Shiny stuff. So, this stuff here comes up to $900. This is $300 and something for the switch. This is $300 to $400 for this, for the hub, because you can't rebuild them before anybody asks. Oh no, Ford made sure that you have to buy the whole thing because you cannot rebuild these. Pain in the bum. And so there's this part, and then, as I said, there's a seal in there, which is this big honking thing, and this is a vacuum seal, so it holds air. So this has to be pressed onto the stub axle that drives the front wheels, and then this has to be pressed into the actual hub assembly. So that's why I've got to remove all this. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of busy. And if any of you with acute hearing can hear something a little bit off with my speech, it's because I've managed to smash out one of my front teeth. Yes, I look like a hillbilly meth addict. Sorry, hillbillies. So, I will not be turning the camera around. And it might not be for a while until I get this thing fixed. So I don't know whether I'm going for a crown or I'm going for an implant or what's happening. But until then, the camera will be pointed in this direction and not that direction. Because I'll be whistling Dixie. Sure thing, you sexy son of a bitch. Tatty bye. P.S. If anybody fancies starting a crowdfunding site or a GoFundMe page for poor Piper Doug to get himself a hoist so he doesn't have to roll around on cardboard with his poor old spine and bits, that'd be much appreciated. Please, no more cardboard.